Hey guys, it's Noelle. Today I am talking about, I'm actually going to be talking about this last week that I just experienced because I went through a lot pregnancy-wise in this past week. But as of today, I am officially 17 weeks pregnant, which is like 4.5 months. So the baby is like 5 inches long in length and weighs like 3.5 ounces. I mean, you know, it's supposed to at this point, average anyway. So they say it's about the size of my palm. So the baby's like this big. So that's exciting. I haven't really felt too much movement at this point. I think it was like 22 weeks when I started feeling stuff with, when I started feeling Zoe. And then I was at like 19 weeks when I started feeling stuff with Zara. So I figure from anywhere at this point beyond, I'll probably be starting to feel the baby. So this week, started with Monday. And I had my normal OB appointment on Monday. And if I haven't already talked about how much I love my OB, like I love my OB. She's fantastic. So I had my regular OB appointment and then I also had a lot of lab work. So because I had preeclampsia with Zoe and almost had preeclampsia with Zara, and I've had gestational diabetes with Zoe. Like, I've been through all the list of complications, right? So my doctor is wanting me to be very proactive about getting the proper care and getting things taken care of and stuff. So on Monday, you know, I was 16 weeks at that point, but she had me go through an early glucose intolerance test. So I had to drink the glucola. It's like uncarbonate sun-kissed is the best way to describe it. So, and then I did a blood draw after an hour of that. So did that, and I also had blood work done. And Sunday, I also had to do a 12-hour urine collection to look for protein in my urine. Protein in urine in pregnancy is a sure sign for preeclampsia. So that's one thing that they want to test and detect for. So I had to collect my urine every time for 12 hours on Sunday in preparation to take that to the lab on Monday. So I did that. I went to see my doctor, got to hear the heartbeat, so that was great. Heartbeat was right around 120, 130, and everything was measuring and everything all right. So then I went to the lab and they drew. So the phlebotomist or lab tech pulled out like all these tubes, and she just kept like pulling tube after tube after tube. And I'm like, okay, what the heck is going on? I'm like, is she like counting to see what her supply is? Like, what in the world? And so she like sets them all out and starts putting labels on all of them. And I was like, is all that for me? And she was like, is that not normal? And I'm like, I've never seen them take that much blood at one time. Excuse me. So it was, essentially, I feel like I gave enough for a donation. But they took so much blood because they were doing the second round of the genetic testing. They were testing for like my RH negative, all kinds of different stuff. Checking for anemia. I don't know. And then I did the glucola test. So they did my blood sugars, and then they were looking at different, various other things, that the specialist needed for my Thursday appointment. So did all that on Monday. Everything was okay. So then on Tuesday, I found out that all of the other blood tests and everything came back and they were fine, but I failed my glucose intolerance. So what that meant was that my doctor needed me to go back in for a 3-hour glucose intolerance test. So I had that, I figured that out, and I had that planned for Friday. So a little nervous, a little, you know, just like, oh my goodness, that was already so much blood work that they took on Monday. I was pretty much out the whole morning from work for that. And Thursday morning, I was going to see the specialist. So yeah, so fast forward to Thursday, I went to go see the hypertension specialist, and that was at the maternal and infant care clinic. So that's like dealing with high-risk pregnancies, because with the issues that I've had, that puts me in the high-risk category. So I went in, and what they said they were going to do was to do this ultracomm thing. So they told me that they were going to do a scan of my heart and basically do like an ultrasound on my arteries and my blood flow. So when I think ultrasound, I think like, okay, they're going to put some gel and they're going to like rub around, you know, like pretend like they're shaving my neck or something. No, quite the opposite. So I have footage, and I'll put it in, I'll find a way to put the footage in. And I went to see the hypertension specialist for prenatal care, whatever. This is in addition to my regular OBGYN. And so I had to go for what they call an ultracomm, which is basically they look and measure at my heart rate. They measure my blood flow of what my heart pumps and what the resistance is of the blood through the arteries. And so they did like a Doppler like on my chest, measuring my heartbeat and stuff. And then they did this thing where they had to like press down on my neck. And I gotta tell you, like, it was brutal. I probably underwent this for like 25 minutes or so, off and on, and it was awful. So it was this like instrument, I don't even remember what it looked like, but she had to press down in the center of my neck here and tried to get like measurements and numbers for my blood flow and stuff. And it was so painful, like I was like being choked. And like she couldn't get the numbers to register, so she had to do it for much longer. Like the whole process was supposed to take like 10 to 15 minutes, but this alone took like 25 minutes. So now I'm left with this, I don't know how well you can see it, but now I'm left with this like half circle hickey, what looks like a hickey, and it will probably bruise because I'm an easy bruiser. I mean, from far away, I guess it's not too bad, and whatever, right? But I just wanted to be able to, I don't want to flash the camera. Basically, they put a thing like right here. It's actually still tender if I touch it. And this happened on Thursday, and it's Sunday night. But they put an instrument here, and they had to like measure right in here. And she like kept forcing it in there. And it was like, I kid you not, it was like 25 minutes of this. And by the time she was done, because she had to move it around several times to try to get the right numbers and the right position, I had like a big red, like a hickey. But it was like I was physically being choked, because where she was pressing was right on my windpipe. Like I had to stop a couple of times because I was coughing because I was being choked. It was horrible. It was awful. And I have to go through it again, unfortunately. Every time I go see the specialist, I have to go through this. But she finally got my numbers, so they were able to look at all of the data that they collected between the urine collection and between this stuff and my blood pressures, which my blood pressures at the specialist were actually really, really low. So, I mean, not like so low that like it was concerning, but like low in a good, healthy range. So based on all of the data and everything that they had, he indicated that I don't need to go on any kind of blood pressure medication at this point. So thumbs up. That was quite the bonus. So I was relieved to get that news. You know, he said that I just need to, based on my glucose intolerance test, that initially, the initial numbers, I should probably prepare for gestational diabetes. So I had been wrapping my brain around that and like figuring out like what changes I need to make and what I need to do for that. So that was a pretty good visit with the doctor, at least. I liked him, all except, you know, having to undergo the ultracomm, which is just part of it, you know. So then Friday morning, I went in for the fasting glucose intolerance test. So I wasn't allowed to have any food after midnight, which is not a big deal because I don't eat after like 8 o'clock anyway. But basically that meant I was not able to eat breakfast. So I went in Friday morning, they did a fasting draw. Then I had to drink more of that, uncarbonated Sunkist, which it was like, a ton sweeter than the first time that I drank it. So it was nauseating. It made me nauseous to have to drink all of that, especially on an empty stomach, obviously. And, so I got through that. And then they did a blood draw every hour after that. So 1 hour, 2 hours, and 3 hours. So I wasn't sure about those numbers. They ended up doing 3 draws in my right arm and then 1 draw in my left arm. And, yeah, so I spent like 3 hours at the lab on Friday morning. The one thing that the doctor did say on Thursday was that, he did not recommend that, I can go through with doing the half marathon. Cause if you'll remember back to some of my earlier videos, I signed up for the Seattle Rock and Roll Half Marathon, and that was the same day that I found out I was pregnant. So I was planning on trying to walk it once I found out that I was pregnant, but the specialist indicated that that's probably not going to be the best plan of course, I don't know, the best thing for me at that point. So he said it's still fine to like train like I am going to, just not like push myself too much, and, you know, work on my diet and stuff so that I can have a healthy pregnancy, but not to actually do the race. So I was a little bummed about that, but obviously I want my health and the health of the baby to be put first. And so my pride and whatever of trying to accomplish and trying to complete a race pregnant, like whatever, you know, I can get over that. So needless to say, there's a lot that went on this week. I actually logged in to my email this morning and I saw that my test results had come back. So my doctor had sent me a message through my little e-portal thing, and all my blood sugars from Friday's draws were all within the normal range, and they were all within like right in the middle of like what was normal. So none of them were like even borderline high, which was really good, which was really exciting. So, which means that at this point I do not have a diagnosis of gestational diabetes at the moment. So when I'm 28 weeks pregnant, then I will undergo another 1 hour test and they'll retest everything at that point. So, if I fail that test again, then I'll have to go through another 3 hour draw. But at this point in my pregnancy, I'm doing all right. And I also hope that with some changes to my diet and, you know, continuing the walking and everything, that I'll be able to keep all my numbers within a healthy range. You know, I've been doing the mindfulness, that has been helping my anxiety. So I'm really taking strides to make myself be healthy through this, and also trying to carry this on to where it's not just, I'm only doing this for 9 months to grow a healthy baby. Like I really want to grow a healthy Noe. And because I'm Asian and because I've had, hypertension and diabetes with the pregnancies, like that puts me at risk for later on for developing type 2 diabetes later in life. And I like my feet, if you can see them in the back. I don't want to lose any limbs. I don't want to have to go through, you know, super difficult issues later in life if I don't have to. So for me, it's really been about trying to change my attitude and figuring out what are some healthy changes that I can make in my life. Again, not just for the pregnancy, but for the duration of my life. And so I've been working on that. So it was a really trying week. Like I was exhausted. Second trimester has been better. I've had a little more energy, but like, I want to say it was maybe Tuesday night. I came home and we ate dinner and I fell asleep on the couch at like 6 o'clock and I slept there till like 8 or 8:30 and I was like in a trance. Like the girls were like coming up to me and hugging on me and like trying to tell me and show me things, and I was like, I could not wake up. It was just like somebody drugged me. And it was just, it was weird. And so then I woke up after that for a little bit and watched TV with Herschel for a little while, and then I was back in bed by like 10. So, and I slept until the next morning when I had to get up. And yeah, so I guess it's just been it was a really, I mean, I guess an emotional week. It was just a lot of like having all of these. So I spent three mornings in doctor's offices out of last week. And it was just, it was a lot, but I am happy to say that like all of the visits, good news pretty much came from that. So I am, you know, plugging through with this pregnancy and doing all right. I am kind of relieved to know that like this will be the last pregnancy. I don't know if I've talked about this a lot, in other videos or not. And as it gets closer and definitely like after I have it done, then I will be able to talk about it. But, I am planning on having a tubal ligation. So, since I have to have a C-section anyway, it'll be very easy and it won't really, add any more complications to the procedure or me healing. So they'll go in and they'll remove part of my, fallopian tubes, and then they'll, you know, like suture it back together or whatever. And so that will prevent me, that's like permanent birth control. So I won't have to be on birth control after this pregnancy or anything like that. Herschel is saved from having a vasectomy, and we won't have to like use condoms or anything like that. So this will be our permanent form of birth control. Having gone through all of these issues that I have with this pregnancy, it just confirms that like this is the last time that my body could do this. My goal was, if we were going to have a third baby, it was going to be before the age of 35. Because at the age of 35, like, I know that there's women well into their late 30s, that there's women in their 40s that have babies. But for me, because I've had issues in my pregnancies, like 35 was the age that I was like, I can't be pregnant after that. Because with age, inherently the risk goes up. I mean, tons of women have healthy babies beyond the age of 35, but the risk is a little bit greater. And knowing that, and knowing the issues that I've had, like, I need my body to be, I don't know, I guess as young as it can be to be able to get through this. So 35 was the age. And with Herschel being older than me, I mean, not super old, but a couple of years older than me, like, he didn't want to be feeling super old when we had another baby. So 35 was the age that I had put a limit on having our third and final baby, and that will happen because I turn 34 in a week and a half, right? Yeah. Wow. A week and a half, I will be 34 years old. And, so I'll have this baby when I'm 34. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. And I just am feeling pretty good about things right now. Like I said, even despite the scary week, like all the good news that came out of it was pretty good. And I am super excited because I do the anatomical scan on April 1st. So hopefully, there are no April Fool's shenanigans that are pulled on me, and cause that would just be really rude and really mean. And I also know what I'm looking for in terms of like when they show me like the area of the baby. I also know like what a girl should look like. And if it doesn't look like what my other girl ultrasounds have looked like, then I'm going to be like, okay, there's some extra equipment that we're working with there. Then I would know. But April 1st is when we will find out. And so I'll be super excited. I know some of you have said like you want to be surprised. But if you watch my pregnancy videos or really any of our videos, you're probably going to find out at some point. The girls are super stoked and they keep talking about if it's a boy or if it's a girl and that kind of thing. So we're all just really excited, and I'm just happy that I'll get to know in less than a month of who this baby is inside of me. So yeah. So I feel like I've been rambling long enough now, but I just wanted to be able to capture a lot of the visits and everything that I've been through. So if you have been through any of the things that I've talked about, or if you've had any complications similar to mine, feel free to reach out and connect and share. The ultracomm was definitely something new to me. None of the other stuff has been new to me up to this point because I've been through the long 4-hour test and stuff, and I've been through urine collections, and I've been through all of that. but the ultracomm and seeing the hypertension specialist was definitely new to me. So that was a little scary. The ultracomm was not comfortable one bit. Oh, and so, sorry. The other thing that I'm going to have to go through, once I get further into pregnancy, so like 32 weeks, then I'm going to have to go under non-stress tests for the baby, which is where they like strap me in. I'm in a hospital, or like I'm in the bed or whatever, and they strap me in and hook the baby up to all these monitors to basically monitor fetal movements, monitor their heartbeat, monitor all of that, and make sure like the baby's not undergoing any stress. So that'll be like a weekly thing once I hit 32 weeks. So it's going to be a lot more doctor's offices. We'll maybe make my videos a little more entertaining, but, anyway, so that's it for now. I'm going to keep this under, 20 minutes, but, feel free to reach out and connect if you've been, if you've gone through any of these things, or you know people, if you're pregnant yourself, if you have questions, if you're scared. I mean, this is the third time I've been through it in the last 5 years, so I'm pretty fresh with it. But I'd love to hear from you. I'd love your support, so please like my videos, subscribe to our channel if you haven't, and until next time, friends, I'll see you later. Okay, bye!